The best air conditioner you will ever own is already buried under your house. It costs almost nothing to run, and the entire cooling industry has spent 100 years making sure it never crosses your mind. No compressor, no refrigerant, no loud box in the yard. It will still be working long after every air conditioner you ever buy has rusted into a landfill. The Amish have run it for 200 years. The Persians used it to make ice in the desert, and a man in rural Tennessee dug one into his backyard for under $400, then shut his real air conditioner off and never turned it back on. I didn't believe him. People exaggerate about money. So I drove 4 hours to stand in his kitchen on a 94-degree afternoon and feel it for myself. Cool, dry air coming out of a closet vent, and not one compressor running anywhere on the property. His air conditioner was still bolted to the side of the house where the installer left it. It just hadn't switched on in 3 summers. Here's the part that got under my skin once I understood it. What he tapped into isn't new, and it isn't his invention. It's the same physics sitting under every house on your street right now, doing nothing, because nobody ever told you it was there. And before this is over, I'm going to tell you the one number about the ground beneath your feet that makes the loud box in your yard look almost like a con. But let me start where I started. Out back. On a stretch of lawn that looked like absolutely nothing. He walked me to a patch of grass and told me the machine was under it. 6 feet down ran a loop of pipe he'd buried himself, 2 weekends with a shovel. Through that loop, he circulates a mix of water and the same antifreeze that's in your car's radiator. The liquid sinks into the cool earth, comes back up carrying that coolness, and passes through a small fan unit he bought online for $80 and tucked into a closet. That's the whole machine. A buried loop, a small pump, a fan that draws less power than the lamp beside your bed. He never even tore out his old air conditioner. Said if the loop ever quit, he could switch back in 5 minutes. It just never quit. I stood there doing math I didn't enjoy. Because I've spent a good part of my adult life writing checks to keep summer out of my house, and this man had simply stopped. So before I show you how the ground pulls this off, and it's almost stupidly simple once it lands, I want you to understand exactly what you've been buying instead. Because once you see that machine for what it really is, you can't unsee it. Your air conditioner makes cold the hard way. It takes a chemical refrigerant, squeezes it under pressure, runs it through coils, blows your indoor air across them, and dumps the heat it grabbed back out into the yard. It is manufacturing cold from scratch, over and over, every hour of every summer. And it pays for that with electricity. A lot of it. That's the box outside that kicks on at 2 in the afternoon and makes your meter spin. And here's what nobody at the dealership says out loud. That machine is built to be replaced. 15 years, maybe 25 if you baby it. Then it dies, goes to a landfill, and you buy another. Refrigerant needs charging. The contract needs renewing. There's always a service call, always a part, always next year's bill. You don't own it. You rent it from the weather, forever. It wasn't even built for your comfort. That genuinely stopped me when I dug into it. The first modern air conditioner was put together in 1902 by a man named Willis Carrier in a printing plant in Brooklyn. And his problem wasn't heat at all. It was humidity. Damp air was wrecking the paper and smearing the ink. The thing was invented to dry out a factory. Keeping people cool came later, once somebody realized you could sell that same box to every house in America and call it progress. That's the quiet part, and it's not some grand conspiracy. It's simpler than that, and worse. The whole industry that grew up around that box, the people who build it, install it, and renew the contracts, has no reason on earth to walk into your living room and tell you the dirt under your feet would do most of the job for free. You don't sell a second compressor to a man with a pipe in his yard. So the old answer was never banned. Nothing that dramatic. It just quietly stopped being taught, dropped out of the manuals, vanished from the trade schools, until a whole generation of builders and inspectors came up never having heard of it. Knowledge doesn't have to be hidden to disappear. It just has to stop being profitable to repeat. So what did the Tennessee man actually dig up back there? It comes down to a single fact about the planet you live on. And once it lands, you don't look at your house the same way again. Dig down a few feet, past the layer that bakes in July and freezes in January, and the ground stops caring what season it is. Down there, the temperature locks in and holds. The same reading every day of the year, while the surface above it swings 40-50 degrees between summer and winter. The earth a few feet under your lawn is the largest, steadiest, cheapest reservoir of cool you will ever have access to. It's been there the whole time, doing nothing, waiting. The Amish never needed a textbook to know it. They worked it out the way they work out everything, by watching what the ground was already doing and building to match. Root cellars dug deep enough to keep food cold all summer without a single watt of power. Spring houses raised straight over running groundwater, cold enough inside on a 90-degree day that you'd find yourself reaching for a jacket. I walked into one of those spring houses myself, and what I felt the second I stepped through that door is the whole secret of this video. The same thing the man in Tennessee turned into a house that pays almost nothing to stay cool. 150. I stepped through that spring house door on a 90-degree afternoon, and the temperature dropped so fast it stopped me mid-sentence. Not a little cooler, a different world. The kind of cool that makes the hair on your arms stand up. There was no machine in there, no vent, no power line running to the building, nothing plugged into anything. Just a small stone structure built directly over a stream of groundwater, and that water, flowing up out of the earth at the steady temperature the ground holds year-round, was cooling the entire room through the floor. That's it. That's the whole trick. No moving parts, no electricity, just water carrying the coolness of the deep ground up into a space where people stand. The Amish have kept their milk, butter, and produce fresh in those buildings for generations, through summers every bit as brutal as yours, without a refrigerator, without a bill. And the moment you understand what's happening in that little stone room, you understand the man in Tennessee's backyard completely. He just took the same idea and made it portable. He couldn't build his house over a spring, so instead of letting groundwater do the carrying, he buried a sealed loop of pipe and pumped his own liquid down to fetch the coolness and bring it back up. Same physics, same free reservoir under the ground. He just sent a pipe down to get it. And the older, even simpler version of this skips the liquid entirely. You bury a wide pipe a few feet down, draw outside air through it, and let the long, cool run of earth strip the heat out of that air before it ever reaches the house. Hot, heavy summer air goes in one end, cooler, drier air comes out the other. People have been calling these earth tubes, ground tubes, all kinds of names, and they show up across the world independently. Because every civilization that ever survived a hard climate eventually noticed the same thing. The Romans ran cooling channels under their villas. People across the Middle East and Asia built air passages into the ground centuries ago. Nobody copied anybody. They all just looked down at the same answer. Now, here's where I have to be honest with you, because this is the part the breathless versions of this story leave out. The Earth doesn't make your house Arctic. Let's kill that myth right now. Run hot summer air through the ground, and it comes out meaningfully cooler and noticeably drier. Enough to change a house. Enough to make a brutal afternoon livable. Enough that a man in Tennessee felt comfortable shutting his compressor off. But it is not going to blast 40-degree air at you like a hotel room. Anyone who tells you the ground will freeze your house is selling you something. And the second their number turns out to be a fantasy, you stop believing the true part too. So hear the true part clearly. The win here is not raw, cold. The win is that the cool is steady, it's deep, it's already paid for, and it costs almost nothing to go get it. And that steadiness is the whole game. Because of one fact about dirt that surprised me more than anything else I learned. The ground is slow. Heavy and slow. When the sun hammers the surface all summer, that heat does sink into the earth, but it crawls. It takes weeks to work its way down even a few feet. By the time the July heat has finally pushed down to where the pipe sits, the season's already turning, and the surface is cooling off again. The deep ground never gets the chance to catch up. It just sits there at its steady temperature, shrugging off whatever the sky is doing, because the planet is too big and too heavy to be rushed. That mass under your lawn is the largest thermal battery you will ever stand on, and it is fully charged, all the time, for free. Now, if you're sitting there thinking this is wonderful for somebody building a new house from scratch, but your house is already standing, already finished, walls closed up since 1979, stay with me. Because this next part is specifically for you. You don't tear up your foundation. You don't rip out anything. The man in Tennessee didn't touch his house's bones at all. He didn't even put the loop under the house. He put it under his workshop 12 feet away, ran 2 lines through the wall, and left his actual home completely alone. The cool gets fetched from the ground out there and carried into the house through a fan in a closet. If you've got a yard, a side strip, even a run of dirt the width of a car along a fence line, you've got somewhere to put it. The house you already own is not the obstacle people assume it is. I have to put one honest warning in here, because the cheerful versions of this video never do, and it matters. Pulling outside air through a buried pipe and into your living space is not risk-free. Pipe that isn't sloped to drain will collect moisture and grow mold, and you'll be breathing it. And in some areas, the ground itself gives off radon, a gas you can't see or smell, and you do not want a pipe quietly delivering more of it into your home. This is exactly why the smarter version, the one the Tennessee man used, seals the liquid inside the loop so no ground air ever enters the house at all. If you ever look into this seriously, that distinction is not a detail. It's the difference between a clever system and a health problem. And one more plain thing. Nobody digs 6 feet down in their yard without first calling to find out what utility lines are buried there. You hit the wrong one, and the cooling bill is the least of your problems. Before I get to the thing I drove 4 hours to see, the detail about this man's setup that I genuinely did not expect, the one that turns cool house into no bill at all, let me say this once and leave it alone. Everything I've walked through across this channel, the heat, the water, the food, this, is gathered in one place now. The link's in the description if you want it, but don't go yet. Because what this man figured out with his system in winter is the part nobody talks about. And it's coming right now. Here's the detail I drove 4 hours for. The thing that turned his head when he first figured it out and turned mine when he explained it. The loop doesn't just work in summer. Think about what that buried pipe actually is. It's a line that reaches down into ground holding steady in the low to mid-50s all year, no matter what. In August, when your house is 90 inside, 55-degree ground is a gift. The loop fetches that coolness and carries it in. But flip the calendar to January. Now it's 20 degrees outside, your furnace is roaring, and that same ground is still sitting at 55. Suddenly, the dirt that was cooling you all summer is warmer than the air outside. So the loop runs the other direction. It reaches down, pulls that 55-degree warmth up out of the earth, and pushes it into the house. And the furnace doesn't have to work nearly as hard to finish the job. One pipe, one pump. Cooling in summer, heat in winter, off the exact same loop in the exact same dirt. He called it 2 for the price of 1, and he wasn't exaggerating. The ground doesn't change, only the direction you pull from it does. That's the piece that breaks the whole arrangement you've been living under. Because you've been paying 2 separate companies to fight the weather in 2 opposite directions. An air conditioner to throw heat out in July, a furnace to make heat in January, and both of them burning money to do it. The ground under your lawn does both jobs at once, for free, because it never picks a side. It just sits there at 55 while you pay through the nose to argue with the sky. Now let me put the real numbers on the table, and notice I don't have to inflate a single one of them, because the honest version is already damning. That box outside your house lasts 15, maybe 25 years, and then it's scrap. The compressor wears out, the refrigerant leaks, the contract renews. Every summer it's a meter spinning hard at 2 in the afternoon, and every decade or so it's a few $1,000s to replace the whole thing. The pipe in the Tennessee man's yard has no compressor to burn out, no refrigerant to leak, nothing to wear down. Buried pipe like that is rated to last 50 to 100 years. The only moving parts in his entire setup are a small pump and a fan, together pulling less power than a couple of light bulbs. His cooling bill, by his own account, dropped to basically nothing. His heating bill fell hard too. He spent under $400 and 2 weekends, and he hasn't switched his real air conditioner on in 3 summers. It's still bolted to the wall. He just doesn't need it. The knowledge to do this was never lost. That's the part I keep coming back to. The Persians made ice in the desert with it. The Romans cooled their houses with it. The Amish kept their food and their families comfortable with it for 2 centuries and never stopped. Never needed anyone's permission, never waited for a manual to tell them the ground was cold. Every one of those people looked down at the same answer. It only disappeared from your world because the answer is free. And free doesn't sell a compressor, doesn't renew a contract, doesn't put anybody's kid through college. So it quietly fell out of the trade schools and the building manuals until your contractor came up never having heard of it. Not because it failed, but because it worked too well to be worth anyone's while to mention. You've got a piece of it back now. It was always there, under your feet, this whole time. It just took somebody driving 4 hours into rural Tennessee to remind us all that it never went anywhere. Now I want to hear from you. And I read every comment that comes in on these, so this isn't for show. Tell me 2 things. First, your state, because the ground temperature where you live is its own number, and it changes what this looks like for you. And second, what you paid last summer to stay cool. Drop the worst month if you've got it. I want to see those numbers stacked up in one place, because I don't think most people realize how alike they all are, until they're sitting in a column together. And here's the one I'm actually hoping for. If your grandparents ever had a spring house or a root cellar or some cold corner of the place that kept food fresh without a plug in the wall, tell me about it. Tell me where it was and what they kept in it. Because that, exactly that, is the same physics as the thing this man buried in his backyard. They just never gave it a fancy name. They didn't need one. If you're not subscribed, understand what this channel actually is. It isn't about saving a few dollars on your power bill, though it'll do that. It's about getting back the things that got quietly set aside because somebody made more money with them forgotten. Every one of these is something I found out about too late and want you to have now. Next week, I'm going to show you the Amish water system. Clean drinking water with no pump, no filter, and no electricity at all. There were people who tried to wave it away as not up to code. They were wrong. And why they were wrong is a story you're going to want to hear. So if you're the kind of person who believes that real, useful knowledge has been pushed quietly out of the conversation to protect somebody else's bottom line, you already know what to do next. I'll see you in the next one. Bring your state, and bring your grandfather's spring house.